The laughter was sharp, echoing off the restaurant walls like broken glass. A gang of young men swaggered past tables, their voices loud, their arrogance louder. They spotted him, just a father, tired eyes, calloused hands resting on the edge of his plate. To them, he was invisible, an easy target. "Look at this old man," one sneered. Chairs scraped, plates rattled. The air was thick with tension. He didn't answer. He didn't move. He just raised his glass, steady and silent. They thought it was weakness. They thought he was nothing. But shadows moved across his face. His jaw tightened. His eyes locked onto theirs, cold, unflinching. The silence was heavy, broken only by the faint hum of neon above. In 40 seconds, the room would drown in screams. Where are you watching the video? Comment, and if you like the video, please subscribe and like the channel. He whispered to himself, 25 years. Those years were carved into him, etched across bone and scar. Years inside cages where men clawed at survival, where blood stained the mat and faces appeared and disappeared like ghosts. He had walked away from it all, or at least tried. He buried the fighter, traded the roar of crowds for the quiet of family dinners. A second chance at peace, but peace never lasts. Not for men like him. The gang circled his table now, their voices dripping arrogance. Their laughter cut like blades across the hushed restaurant. "What's wrong, old man? Cat got your tongue?" One spat, leaning close enough for the stench of cheap cologne and cigarettes to choke the air. His pulse slowed, not quickened. Every sound sharpened, the scrape of a knife against porcelain, the faint buzz of the neon sign outside. He wasn't here anymore. He was back in the cage. His body remembered what his mind had buried. The first act of aggression came sudden. One thug smacked the glass from his hand. It crashed, water spilling across the floor like shards of memory. The father didn't flinch. He rose slowly, every motion deliberate, the overhead lights casting shadows that carved his face into stone. The laughter died into silence. His voice was calm, almost too calm. "You don't want this fight." They roared louder, emboldened by numbers. 5 against 1. Strength in fists, or so they believed. They saw only a weary father, not the beast years of war had forged. His breathing deepened. The silence pressed down heavy, unbearable, broken only by the pop of his knuckles as his fists curled into destiny. Every eye in the restaurant locked on him. Time slowed. The storm had not yet begun, but it was seconds away. The first punch cracked through the silence like thunder. A hook, sharp and merciless, sent the nearest thug crumpling, his body folding before his mind even knew what had happened. Blood sprayed across the table, staining white cloth red. The others froze. Shock held them for a breath too long, and in that breath, the storm swallowed them whole. He moved with terrifying grace. A knee shot upward, crushing ribs. An elbow sliced downward, splitting skin like paper. Every strike was precise, honed by decades in the cage. No wasted motion, no hesitation, just violence delivered with surgical efficiency. The floor was painted with their blood, a waiter whispered later. Screams filled the restaurant. Chairs toppled. Glass shattered. Faces blurred as he dismantled them one by one. Shadows flickering across the walls in jagged bursts of chaos. One lunged with a bottle. He caught the wrist, twisted, and the snap echoed louder than the screams. Another charged from behind, but he pivoted, drove a fist into the man's throat. The sound of choking filled the air. 40 seconds. That was all it took. When the last one hit the ground, silence returned. Heavy, absolute. The restaurant, moments ago alive with arrogance, now lay broken, bodies sprawled across the floor. He stood in the middle of it, chest rising steady, eyes calm, as if nothing had happened. He whispered again, voice low, almost mournful. 25 years, all for this. Then he sat back down, lifted his glass, drank as if the storm had never passed. To the world, he was just another father again. But everyone in that room knew the truth. They would never forget the night the quiet man reminded them of what monsters look like when provoked.